I love the movie National Treasure. I used to watch it over and over again when I was a kid. As I grew up, however, there's one thing that began to bother me: their use of the Masonic symbol. Its only use throughout the movie was as a device to drive along the plot line. Don't get me wrong, a number of the founding fathers were Freemasons. In fact, about 5 million people worldwide are Freemasons today. My problem is the fact that this movie portrays the Masons as a type of subversive secret society. It isn't just Hollywood that thinks this way of the Masons either. There are many groups around the world that have devoted themselves to exposing the Masons. Some even go as far as saying that they satanically abuse their members as well as regular citizens. My dad is a Mason. When I asked him about the satanic abuse within the lodge, he gave me a funny look and said, "I better check that all my dues are paid because I think I'm being left out of this." So what are the Masons? To find this out, we're going to take a look at their history, dispel some myths, and take a look at how they have affected society overall. There is a reason that the Masons are seen as a secret society, and it isn't just a modern view. If we look back, we can see that the Masons were always sort of secretive. Looking back, however, can be hard to do with just regular research because the Masons didn't keep a written record of history. With some help from my dad and an article by Lita Gore, authenticated journalist and author from Alabama, I was able to piece together the story that the Masons have passed down the line. It all started with the Masonic guilds back in biblical times. They imparted wisdom to each other to become better people for the good of society. As the Middle Ages came around and more people joined the guild that weren't excellent in stonemasonry because they were the Knights Templar. Along with being the people who constructed huge castles and architecture, they became the first bankers of sorts. They protected the rich population's money during travel for a price. Unfortunately, on October 13th, 1307, the French king, Philip IV, decided that he didn't want to pay that price. So he arrested the Knights Templar and executed their Grand Master, Jacques de Molay. This put a bad rep on Friday the 13th and forced the Knights Templar to lay low for a while. As time progressed, the banking aspect of their group was dropped and they simply became the Masons again, this time with more wisdom to impart. In the 1700s, the founding fathers brought the society to America and subtly wove their beliefs into the inner core of our government. This is even shown in the dollar bill with some of the hidden meanings behind every symbol that you see. The society spread through America as people slowly expanded through the country and once again changed with times. As stonemasons were needed less and less, they slowly formed to what they are today. Today, they are a fraternity for men who have a goal to become better people for the benefit of society. Not everyone sees the Masons as good people, however. From rumors of satanic abuse to theories of groups consisting of lizard people, there are plenty of myths out there around the Masons. Let's do a little bit of a fact check. The theory seeming to have that most people backing it is Satanism. This has whole groups backing it up, such as SMART, Stop Mind Control and Ritual Abuse Today, which has pages and pages of proof that Satanism is practiced within Masonic lodges. I mean, they seem smart, and their acronym says they are, and you need someone pretty brilliant to squeeze in 7 words into a 5-letter acronym. But this is still a little hard to believe. An article by Freemason Roger Firestone states that any allegations that Freemasonry is satanic are simply fabrications based on misunderstandings of the group and its rituals. For example, the blazing star, which is an ornament of the lodge, has people set on the idea that the Masons worship it. In reality, it is based on Isaiah 14:12, which links it to the Star of Bethlehem. Fact check complete. There is also the theory that Denver Airport holds a Masonic lair. The project of the airport went $2 billion over budget, and just over a year past its deadline, according to the Business Insider. A combination of the dark decor and the Masonic symbol engraved on the dedication plate outside led many people to believe the whole project was yet another scheme to spread the dark acts of Masonry and their terrifying brotherly love. The truth behind the project is that during construction, the crew misread the blueprints and for the first 5 buildings, thus putting the whole project behind in time and money. Fact check complete. Whether it be National Treasure or Dan Brown's lost symbol, there seems to be no end to the stories recounting that the founding of America as being completely intertwined with Freemasonry. While all the makes of good conspiracies, the stories aren't all that accurate. Men such as George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, John Hancock, and 13 of the men who signed the Constitution were part of the Freemasons, and even an article in U.S. News titled Masons in the Making of America says that society helped to spread principles such as liberty and religious tolerance through the colonies, but that this was more of an act of values than a political agenda. Fact check complete. So we can see now that even though there are lots of myths ranging from plausible to ridiculous surrounding the Masons, a quick fact check can usually debunk the theories. Now that we have seen some history behind the Masons and decided that my dad is in fact not a satanic lizard person, we can begin to look at the Masons have actually done. After all the information I've given you, I still hear people tell me that the Masons are a secret society. Let me set the record straight. The Masons are not a secret society. If they were, you wouldn't have a clue of what I'm talking about. National Treasure wouldn't have a plot device to use. The Masons are simply a society with secrets. Now, why not share all this secretive wisdom with society? Why keep it all to themselves? Well, my dad put it this way. What if you and your friends studied super hard for a final exam? Who would you help giving answers? Maybe your friends or others who had studied? But why risk giving it to someone who would cheat? Instead, you and your circle of friends study and get an A, causing the rest of the class to realizing that studying is the best way to ace a test. Without them realizing it, you have set your influence upon them, and now more people will get A's, raising the class average. This is exactly what Masons do today. They become active in the community and spread their influence. They have even branched off more groups, giving us the démolé for younger boys, the Shrine, which spends over $63 million a year to provide free health care to children, according to ShrinersHospitalForChildren.org, and the Grotto, who spends over $2 million a year, according to the Humanitarian Foundation, to provide free dental care to children with disabilities. Not only that, but this society gave the values and goals to men hundreds of years ago who turned them into the beginning of a new country. 32nd degree Masons Valley of Detroit states that today a little less than 2 million people are Freemasons in the U.S., one of those being my father. So what are the Masons? They are not satanic. They are not lizards. They are a fraternity for men, are working towards being better citizens, and are trying to make the world a better place. Even though they may be a secretive society, that doesn't necessarily mean that their secrets are all that bad. It just means that they are secret and nothing more. I guess if you leave with anything today, you can leave knowing that lizard people practicing Satanism in their airport lair didn't draw the map in the back of the Declaration of Independence for Nicolas Cage to find a national treasure.